having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, it's time for round number 10 of our second season of F1 2019 Career Mode. The pack is getting ever so close, you guys can see right there as we go through all the different specifications of the car where we are. We are basically the third best car. As we look at the performance chart, it is Red Bull leading the way from Ferrari in P2. Red Bull are really starting to stretch their legs now. Then it's us, Mercedes and Racing Point battling for third, with us a pixel ahead of Racing Point, and then Mercedes in fifth. Williams are in sixth, with actually McLaren and Renault catching quickly, Alfa Romeo in ninth, and Toro Rosso in 10th. Guys, please, if you like my enthusiasm, hit the like down below. It's only gonna take you 2 seconds. Now guys, this season is really heating up towards a very pinnacle pivot point. And yeah, guys, Silverstone, a high-speed chassis, aero, and power track. Literally, this is the track where all three parts of the car are extremely important. You need a good chassis to get the car to handle through the corners. You need good aero to trust that the car will stick, and you need an immensely good engine to make sure that there is power whenever you need it. As you guys see, I had a little bit too much power in practice one in the wet conditions. I went a little bit too quick onto the power as we went through this left hand, and I also touched the grass on the inside. So yeah, that was a little bit of my fault. Typical British weather conditions, rainy and cold, but it's not something that's gonna put us off. Luckily, the rest of the weekend was dry. But honestly, guys, the championship is heating up so much, and we are gunning for our second win of the season. We have only got one victory under our belt. This season is so tightly contested, it's not even funny. We really have to push like there is no tomorrow. We need to get another victory under our belt, because nobody's getting momentum. Not Hamilton, nobody in the top 5, because every race there's a different winner. But guys, let's skip the talking for now. Let's head straight to qualifying and see where we can put this horse on the grid. Yeah!
Here we are then, waiting for the green lights to get qualifying underway for the British Grand Prix. This is a track that tends to ask quite a lot of the tyres, both front and rear. So is it fair to say a great deal of management will be needed in order to do well here?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
Jumping straight to the end of Q1, guys. You guys see we qualified P12. We are easily through into Q2. Our teammate Romain Grosjean is through to Q2 as well. Jumping now to the end of our first run in Q2. You guys see I'm a little bit deep into the final chicane there, so that cost me a few tenths of a second. We go second, only 1.8 tenths behind Devon Butler. So that's really just that's a little bit not as close as I want to be. Now jumping to the end of Q2, we're only going to watch the end of our lap, guys. We are P12, which is still very solid considering we did our first lap on a worn set of tyres. But coming out of the final quarter, we're more than half a second up on our time. We cross the line and we go up into P9. That unfortunately pushes our teammate out of the top 10. But it's myself and the 2 Williams, the 2 Racing Points, 1 Red Bull, both Mercedes and both Ferraris in Q3. Jumping towards the end of our first run in Q3. You guys see that we are pushing on. I want to get this car in a good position. Like I told you guys at the beginning of the video, we have to start going for the wins. The season is getting to a critical point now, almost towards the summer break. And it's really nip and tuck. So I really have to be on the ball for the rest of the season. I cannot let go, even with the slightest amount. I have to stay on the rest of the AI, especially Hamilton, Verstappen, and the very quick rising 2 Red Bull cars.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:26.5. Engine fired, we're set.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, like I said, Verstappen, Hamilton. I can't forget about Valtteri Bottas. I can't forget about the 2 Red Bulls. Pierre Gasly won 2 races ago in France. So I really have to be on my wits. The 2 Racing Point cars are absolutely on a rise. The momentum on their side is so good. The only cars that I feel that I don't have to worry about just yet are the 2 Williams cars, but they are always there as the 2 dark horses, just wanting to steal track time, well, not track time, but track positions from you. So I've got a total, my teammate, I haven't had to worry about my teammate at all, but I've got a total of 10 other cars that I have to worry about. The Williams not as much as the other 8, but both Racing Points, both Red Bulls, both Mercedes and both Ferraris have immense pace in their cars at this stage of the season. So I really have to be on the dot. Let's comment it for the final part of this lap here at Silverstone. Heading to the flat out right-hander, because I want to say it's Koff, but I'm afraid that I'm going to be wrong, so I'm just going to say the flat out right-hander. Heading through Maggots and Beckett, flat out for the first 2, down to 6th gear for the 3rd one, 5th gear for the 4th and 4th one, flat out through the 5th one, open up DRS, overtake mode on the ERS as we head down towards the 4th to last corner. I know you guys are gonna go absolutely scold me in the comments for forgetting the Silverstone track corner names, but it's not the end of the world. Heading in towards the final 3 corners through the chicane. Only one right-hander to go. It's a double apex.
3. Verstappen, Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Sorry about cutting out that final quarter of the lap, guys. I can remember it was very bouncy, so I had to cut it out. But guys, you guys already qualified? Let's head straight to the British Grand Prix. Yeah.
The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. And how joyous indeed it is to be back at Silverstone once more for the British Grand Prix. The queues to get in this morning extended miles back down the A43, such as the enthusiasm for Formula One in this country. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Bottas, Sergio Perez, and Hamilton, O'Connor, Norris, Russell, and Devon Butler. Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, and Faber, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Lance Stroll, and Alexander Albon. Fiat and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
We're higher on the grid than we expected. Let's see if we can do even better.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and also don't forget to ding the bell to always be notified when a new video releases. Guys, P7 on the grid. We really have to get it, and you guys know my rule, at least the top 5 to stay consistent, but I would really like to go for a podium today, but you never know what Silverstone holds. It's always a cracking Grand Prix around, basically the oldest F1 track. So guys, please jam with me on the formation lap. Let's get this Grand Prix going. Prix here around the Silverstone circuit. Ferrari front row lockout in Mercedes' backyard, and it's go, go, go for the British Grand Prix. Charles and Max get an excellent run off of the line. You guys know that Charles and Max are really at each other's throats to have the number one driver's seat there at Ferrari, but Max at this stage is giving it to Charles. Guys, I'm just telling you guys, keep an eye on the Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel today. I think Red Bull are in here with a big upset underneath their wing. They've got something planned, and I just think that Red Bull might have the pace today to show the Ferraris where the pace lies here around the Silverstone circuit. So keep an eye on Sebastian Vettel. As you guys see, I had a brilliant start. On some other way, I've gotten myself all the way up into P4, but we'll jump back to my start in just a second. As you guys see, Sebastian Vettel is already hounding the rear end of Charles Leclerc. But guys, now we jump onto the POV of Sergio Perez for the start of his Grand Prix. You guys can see he got a terrible getaway. Lewis Hamilton goes up his inside, but him and Valtteri hold up everybody behind them, and I just get a slingshot around the outside. That was absolutely beautiful, guys. Look at Valtteri Bottas' POV. I don't know why Bottas stayed on the inside. He had more than enough room to go to the outside, but he basically was the cork in the bottle, and I completely shot him out. Look at this, guys. Yeah, ooh, that's actually immensely close there. That was basically tires shimming past each other. I didn't feel any contact with that when I made that move, but that was just way too close for comfort. That's millimeters apart. Guys, you can see I actually had a fairly decent start, unlike usual. And as I go to the inside, I am forced to the outside by two cars trying to overtake me. And actually, I'm grateful for that, because that made me keep the outside line and showed me that the door was completely open. Now let's see if I can actually stay with these top three. But I think for that to happen, I'm going to have very good pace. The AI here around Silverstone are very strong, to say the least. And you guys can see Valtteri Bottas is already hounding me from behind. Heading into these next two corners, it's very close between myself and Valtteri. I really need to know what I'm doing when we go into this section. Oh my soul, now Valtteri in that very powerful Mercedes is going to have the slipstream, and Vettel and Leclerc have already pulled away from me. I'm out of the 1 second gap, so I will not even have slipstream. This is really bad news for myself, guys, but I defend luckily.
We're in a good position.
Thank you, Jeff. I luckily defend from Bottas as we head through Maggots and Beckett's for the first time here in this British Grand Prix. You guys can see I'm really throwing the car in there as hard as I can. Max Verstappen is going to come. I think this is the hanger straight, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry guys, excuse the replay, they're jumping a bit. I actually should have seen that, but nothing really happened. Max Verstappen has got to come across the line to finish the first lap in the lead of the Grand Prix. It's a Ferrari 1-2 with Charles Leclerc in second, and Red Bull are on the podium with Sebastian Vettel in third. Now you guys actually see Valtteri Bottas hounding me still on the second lap. Heading in here, it is very close to myself and Bottas, but he actually gives me a little bit of a shunt there. Not big, but a tiny shunt. And oh my soul, Saba's I need to the back, it's very good. Ooh, that was not nice to go through there. Oh my soul, that was a little bit of a heart attack. Yeah. I just, okay, relax. Now I've got two Mercedes hounding me from behind. As you guys see, Hamilton tries to go on the inside of Valtteri Bottas, with Sergio Perez lurking right behind them. But now, heading into the final two chicanes, Bottas has got Hamilton back. Oh, actually, no, it is. Yeah, Bottas is ahead of Hamilton and right behind me. Now you guys see Hamilton is defending from the racing point of Sergio Perez at the Williams. I think it's Lando Norris. As Valtteri Bottas goes for a move around by outside. Oh, there's a piece of front wing fly. That me and Bottas make contact. There's the piece of front wing bouncing on the outside of the track, guys. Look at this. Oh my soul, guys. I just had... That looked like understeer. Oh, Hamilton also breaks his front wing. Oh my soul. This is the front wing of Valtteri Bottas. What just happened to Mercedes? Yeah, guys, I think I just turned too late into the corner. That is my fault. I'm sorry, Valtteri. I just turned in way too late there. But guys, let's have a look on Hamilton's wing POV. And oh my goodness. Guys, have I just ruined Lewis Hamilton's home Grand Prix, and have I just ruined Mercedes' race? You have to have good amounts of downforce around this track, otherwise you are useless. This track is especially with the high-speed corners, you have to have downforce on your side. Oh my soul, as Sebastian Vettel makes an absolutely beautiful move around the outside of Charles Leclerc. I think this is going to be a very heated battle, but can Vettel bridge that 1 second gap to go and chase after Max Verstappen? Because I truly think the Red Bull has got the pace on the two Ferraris. But Charles Leclerc, right behind Vettel, goes up the inside. I'm quickly Googling the corner name. Was I correct in saying it was Cops? Yes, I was. He goes on the inside of Vettel around Cops. through Maggots and Beckets. It is Charles ahead of Sebastian, but now we have to see, can Charles keep himself ahead of that Red Bull, who will have DRS as we head down the hangar straight. I was correct about the straight, yeah. And Vettel goes for a move around the outside of Stowe. Yeah, I would never have remembered Stowe, I'm not gonna lie. Vettel around the outside, and it's a beautiful move around the outside of Mr. Leclerc. And now we have to see what these two have in store for each other. But guys, this fight's gonna go on, I think, until the first pit stop phases commence. And I think Ferrari have ordered Charles to turn that Ferrari up to 11 to make sure that Max can get away. Because if Vettel bridges the gap to Charles with more than 1 second and he can start chasing after Max, Ferrari are in jeopardy of actually losing this Grand Prix. So let's see if Vettel can actually get past Charles and then stay ahead of Charles. But at this stage, Charles is doing an absolutely brilliant job as they head into Maggots and Beckets once again. Will Vettel make a move once again down the hangar straight? You guys can see Verstappen has got a very solid lead at this stage, and Vettel will have to work hard if he gets past Charles and bridges the 1 second gap, DRS gap. But basically this entire track is, if you stay in the slipstream, you have such good pace. The dirty air around here is not so bad, but the slipstream is actually like Monza and Spa. It's a little bit OP. As you guys see, Vettel went for a move on the inside, but Charles just slingshotted himself around the outside and stays ahead of that Red Bull. You guys see, we rewind actually back to the lap there. As you guys see, Valtteri Bottas, even with a broken front wing, is still hounding me a lot as he goes for a move on the inside, going through Cops, and that was very nip and tuck there. But he's not going to have the downforce through Maggots and Beckets, and now he's got a problem. He's got the problem of the racing points of Sergio Perez right behind him. Come out, Sergio, take the pressure off of me, man. I've still given Valtteri DRS, but here goes Sergio Perez. He goes for the move around the outside. Will Perez actually make the move, stick around the outside, and I jolt my way to the apex of the corner? And there we go, Sergio Perez makes a move around the outside of Bottas. That was absolutely brilliant. Now stay ahead of Bottas. Oh my God, guys, I really ruined Mercedes' race today. I actually feel bad, I'm not gonna lie. If I were Mercedes, I would have pitted them both in on the same lap, get them on the hard tires and run them to the end, because they are going to have such bad pace. As once again, we jump back to the battle between Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. As Sebastian Vettel goes around the outside of Luffield. That was an absolutely beautiful move. We jump onto 1 lap later as Charles Leclerc tries to go for another move as heading into Cops. He's on the inside. He squeezes Vettel towards the outside. He leaves him enough room, actually. He's a lot more friendlier than I would have been. And Charles gets the move done. But now, once again, here's the problem. Vettel is going to have slipstream and DRS heading down the hangar straight. So now, does Charles have enough electric energy to keep that Ferrari ahead? I don't think he has, because he has to turn that Ferrari up to 11 to get past him in a non-DRS zone heading into Cops. So let's see, around the outside, Charles on the outside. Will he slingshot himself once again around the outside of Vettel? Yes, he does! Vettel, go around the outside. You made that move work earlier. Come on, Sebastian. Come on, you can do this. Max Verstappen comes through the final corner to cross the line, still in P1. Charles Leclerc P2, Sebastian Vettel P3. Guys, I missed the stage where Vettel got past Charles again. But in any case, guys, I can't show you every single time these two overtook each other, because they literally overtook each other almost every single lap, sometimes 2-3 times a lap. So this is really a battle that I just had to stay with. But I would have given you guys like 50 clips just of these two battling. I should just basically started the recording and kept it till the pit stop phases, because that's how bad it was. As you guys see now, I'm under pressure from Sergio Perez, who is really hounding me as I give him the squeeze coming out of Stowe. I nearly said Luffield, coming out of Stowe. You guys see I'm very aggressive on my exits. I'm not going to give these guys any room to breathe. I want to keep my car ahead of them. Once again, Sebastian Vettel actually schools Charles Leclerc heading down the hangar straight. So you can see Vettel saved up a lot of ERS that lap, but they both dived straight into the pit lane. And now we will see who is going to have the proper strategy heading in here. Red Bull mechanics v Ferrari mechanics. Who has got the better pit crew? If you look at real life numbers, Red Bull currently hold the world record for the fastest pit stop, and they set it this year. So who's going to win? Ferrari v Red Bull, let's see. Both cars are in, tires off, tires on. Ferrari get Charles out before Vettel. What a move. Vettel's previous team just basically schooled his new team in the pit stops. Well, actually, how does this work? Okay, guys, this is Max Verstappen coming into the pit lane. You guys can see that. Vettel was at Red Bull, went to Ferrari, now he's back at Red Bull. So, the team he won his first world championship with just let him down, but the team that beat him in the pit stop is his previous team, who he hasn't won, well, who he won one World Championship with on my game. So, yeah, that's a lot to wrap your head around, but in any case, I just wanted something to talk about. But guys, now heading into the pit lane, it's myself, my mechanics versus Red Bull mechanics versus Racing Point mechanics, because that is Pierre Gasly behind us. So let's see who has got the better pit stop here. I stay on the POV of Sergio Perez. As you guys see, I get held up by the Williams. I got held up by the Williams there, and that is the reason why Sergio Perez has come out ahead of me. Luckily, I stayed in front of Gasly because Gasly was also held up by the Williams there. So you guys see the Williams are still playing their part in this championship. That's
No more scheduled pit stops.
That's what I was talking about in qualifying when I said that the Williams cars are always there. You can never count them out. So now you guys see I'm behind Norris and Perez, and I don't think I'm going to be able to pass Perez again, guys. I'm honest. I don't think I'll be able to pass Perez. The Racing Points just have such good pace around here. Remember, our car, the Haas, the Mercedes, and the Racing Points are basically exactly the same when it comes to the performance index. But yeah, guys, we're just gonna have to see. This is finally Valtteri Bottas diving it into the pit lane, strapping on his medium tires and replacing his front wing. Hamilton has not yet come into the pit lane. Mercedes has kept him out one lap longer. Guys, the Mercedes are out of this race. If they get points today, that will really be a big thing. As we run through the top 10, guys, Max Verstappen is still leading the way with Charles Leclerc in P2, who has now bridged the gap to Sebastian Vettel in P3. P4, it is actually Sergio Perez with myself in P5, where I got past Lando Norris in the Williams. It's Lando Norris in P6. P7, that is Lucas Weber. P8, Pierre Gasly. This is going to be a very tough fight come the end of the Grand Prix. That's a beautiful shot there, heading through the first corner, which is Abbey. And now you guys can see this is all the POV of Gasly. He is P8. Then we have to go back to P9. That's the second Williams of George Russell. And P10, is it going to be a Mercedes? No, it's actually the McLaren of Devon Butler, who is in P10. So, yeah, guys, at this stage, Mercedes are getting zilch for this weekend here at Silverstone. So this is really, oh, poor Mercedes, guys. And guys, it's my fault. I'm not even going to try and cover it up. That was my fault for the contact between myself and Bottas. I didn't get a warning for making contact with Bottas, but I was focused too much on Bottas himself than focusing on taking the proper racing line through T1. And I just turned in way too late, and that made the contact between me and Bottas, and that is why Bottas broke his front wing. I personally think Hamilton should have jumped into the brakes as soon as he saw me and Bottas making contact, but Hamilton just said, it's hammer time, and he ran straight into the back of his teammate. So that is not my fault. That is the fault of Lewis Hamilton himself. But guys, this battle between the two Williams cars, Pierre Gasly and Lucas Weber, is really heating up. As you guys see, Gasly tried to get past the Williams of Lando Norris so he can fight with the Racing Point of Lucas Weber. There we go. Now it's the Racing Point and the Red Bull going to fight one another. The Red Bull, according to the performance chart, is actually the quickest car on the grid according to paper. But as you guys see, the two Ferraris are actually giving Sebastian Vettel a very hard time, and it seems now that Charles Leclerc has bridged that 1 second gap, that Vettel can't catch up. So maybe I was wrong about Vettel, which actually is very sad, because I would really like Vettel to actually win a race with Red Bull before he decides to move again. Because I feel thus far this season, Red Bull have not delivered the car that Vettel wanted, and Vettel is not going to be able to defend his championship if Red Bull don't start winning literally every single race from now on, and Sebastian needs to be the one that wins. So Red Bull have got a victory this season thus far, but in the form of Pierre Gasly, not in the form of Sebastian Vettel. So this is really a very interesting championship to say the least, guys, and I have to be honest, I really feel bad for Vettel. Vettel really deserves a better car, but in any case, it's the same in real life. He really needs a car in real life that can perform, and Ferrari, this year, Ferrari did not provide it at all. He had the car underneath him in 2017 and 2018, but Ferrari themselves just made too many mistakes within the season. So that I can understand, but I hope 2020 is Vettel's year at Ferrari. But while I was blabbering on about real life F1, there is a cracking race going on in front of your guys' eyes. Your guys' eyes. How do you pronounce that? You guys' eyes. So that sounds like I'm butchering the English language. You guys' eyes. That sounds more your guys' eyes. Yes, your guys' eyes. Okay, that's it. We're going with that. Your guys' eyes Oh, it's a tongue twister. In any case, you guys can see Lucas Weber is battling hammer and tongue with Pierre Gasly. And while these two are battling, they're enabling me to at least stay in front of them. And as soon as they start battling and start helping one another, I've got a problem. Because guys, I do not know why, but my horse was so hard on its medium tires. I don't know why, guys. I didn't push hard. All I did was try to stay consistent. But my car worked its medium tires so hard, I basically could have gone onto a second set of softs. My car was so good on the soft tires that I started the race on. I do not know what happened to the car as soon as I started on the mediums. But the mediums wore so badly, and I couldn't get the front tires to stop overheating. So I literally had to drive the car, and that's a massive mistake from Pierre Gasly, heading into the corner before Lifefield as he locks up and lets the Williams of George Russell pass, actually. But what I was busy saying is, especially my left front, it wouldn't overheat over 103 to 104 degrees Celsius, but because of all the high-speed right-handers, which puts the majority of load on the left front tire, I really had a problem with getting the front end of the car to bite. And as you guys see, we head on to, I think this is lap 24 or 25, around about there. Pierre Gasly is on my gearbox. I unfortunately missed the part where he overtook Lucas Weber. But now I've got a Red Bull, a Racing Point, the Red Bull, which is on paper the fastest car, a Racing Point, which is almost exactly the same as mine, and two Williams charging at me. I really have to stay very firm this Grand Prix. As you guys see, heading through, sorry for the replay, once again, jumping like a mad thing. Heading through Cops and through Baggett's and Beckett's, I just can't bridge the gap. I don't have the temperature in my tires to grip properly. My front end just understeers like a front wheel drive car. So you guys see we head through Stowe, and now heading into the final few corners of the track. It is Weber hounding the rear end of Gasly. He's trying to get past Gasly, and at this stage Gasly is making it very, very hard for the Racing Point driver. But I want them to fight. I'm trying to force these two into a fight so they can leave me alone and I can just nurse my tires back home. So I can nurse my car back home, because when you're under pressure like this, you have to push, and my tires just didn't want any of it. As you guys see, look how bad the grip is heading through the final two corners. I've got Lucas Weber on my outside, heading through Abbey. Woo! That was very close. That was very close. But anyway, guys, luckily we defend, guys. But guys, Max Verstappen has driven an absolutely flawless Grand Prix. He rounds the final two corners, and he is going to take the win on Mercedes' home turf. Well, Germany is basically their home turf, but Lewis Hamilton's home turf. And Max Verstappen wins the British Grand Prix, with Charles Leclerc coming up at P2 and Sebastian Vettel a very solid P3. I think Vettel would have liked to have won, but the cookie, that's how the cookie crumbles. You have to have the car underneath you, and clearly Ferrari has still got one up on Red Bull. But guys, luckily we hang on to P5 and we go through the final chicane, heading towards the final corner, and we are just gonna hold on to secure a solid P5 here at Silverstone.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Max Verstappen now leads the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ants. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
I think it's got to be Lucas Weber. Time and time again, he proves that he's someone who can quietly get the job done, and that's exactly what he's done today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. That was a close race with Lucas. As former teammates, you must know each other's moves well. That was a good race for Lucas. Are you pleased to see him doing well? Appreciate your time.
Guys, what a cracking British Grand Prix. Guys, the championship is absolutely nuts. Max Verstappen has taken the lead of the championship. I think he took the lead the previous round, or I just really had a bad race. As well as Hamilton. Hamilton didn't even get points today, guys. But Max Verstappen is leading the way from myself and P2, 20 points apart. I'm 2 points ahead of Hamilton in third, and then Valtteri Bottas is on 112 points. And guys, like I said, don't count out Red Bull. If Vettel pulls up his socks, he can still be in championship contention come the end of the season. Red Bull are starting to make strides, and I would not count Red Bull out for one teeny weensy second. Red Bull always come to the party late in the season. Remember that.
Great work. That's exactly the kind of result I'm looking for. Keep it up.
Thank you, Emma. Guys, that has been this video. Guys, a cracking British Grand Prix. We're heading to one of my favorite circuits on the calendar next. We're heading to Hockenheim in Germany. Guys, like I said, I'm still pushing to get that next race victory. I need the points super, super bad. But guys, that has been it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Guys, please, if you like what you've seen today, drop a like on the video down below. It's only going to take you 2 seconds. If you really like what you've seen today, subscribe to the channel, please. We all grow together. And please, ding the bell to never miss a future video. Also, guys, if you've loved what you've seen today, please share this video on your social media, and I will give you a future shout out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Cheers!